podcast. Hello and welcome to Brew Games episode 12. Here's whatever ails ya. I'm Joseph Evans.
And I'm Adam Eliason.
And on this episode, we are going to get into our beers.
That's right.
So you want to go first?
Sure. I got you the Stochasticity Quadro-triticale something or other. It's the longest name of beer I've ever seen in my entire life. So I'll let you open that.
Okay.
Using our steam whistle bottle opener. So we've had some stone beers before. We've had their pale ale and their double bastard. Not on the show, but we had it at
Just in general, yeah.
In general and at the BSB's
the
beer
beer
tasting.
fest, yeah.
But so Stone is quite a big name. And I guess they didn't want their name to... they didn't want people to buy this beer just because it's a Stone beer. So they registered a new company name, the Koch and Wagner Brewing Company, to throw people off. And it's obvious that it's Stone now. It's on the bottle now. But when it first came out, it didn't have any of that. And they came up with that name because Stone was made by Greg Koch and Steve Wagner. So Koch and Wagner. That's how they came up with that. But they wanted this beer to be good based on its merits, not just having the Stone name and having people blindly buy it.
Right.
So for this one, they got a new hybrid grain to make this. That's what the triticale is. However you say that. So it's should I go into the description, or do you want to give some thoughts on it first?
I just have a question. Is the hybrid grain, is that going to be obviously a malt, right? Being a grain? So it's a hybrid malt that they developed?
I'm guessing.
Okay. Yeah. Go ahead.
You probably know more than I do. You're a bigger Stone fan. Anyways, I guess it's like a Trappist ale, but as we know them, they're about a century old, which I guess for beer isn't that old.
No. But beers are around for a really long time, but,
yeah. But
Trappist beers are also very, very old, of course.
But rather than following the footsteps of the monks who forged the quadruple, the warmest and darkest of the monastery's offerings, they wanted to test its inherent makeup, back to the whole project thing, going into the science behind these beers. So they added this triticale, the hybrid grain, to combining the pleasant flavor of wheat with the elemental durability and spice of rye. There you go. That's what it's a hybrid of.
Okay.
Sorry, I got you another wheat beer.
That's okay. It's hybrid with a rye, so we'll see how it goes.
Breathing new life into the malt bill. Because of this, the reimagined brew comes across different than its classic Belgian predecessors, and beautifully so. Lower in sweetness, but rich with flavors, mirroring dried fruit, it's a modern interpretation of one of the most historically sacred styles on earth. It's got an IBU of 40. Beer Advocate gave it an 85, but the Bros gave it 90. I guess they liked it a little more. Mm-hmm. And Rate Beer gave it a 93. And I forget the price.
I think they're around $10 a bottle.
Yeah, close to
10
that.
to 12.
Yeah.
I remember seeing it a couple times on Willow Park shelves. Yeah, like they said in their description of the beer, it is definitely different from your typical Trappist quadruple. It definitely has that signature hop that Stone has. So even with them taking the name off of it originally, if you're a big Stone fan, you definitely would notice those hops in there. You'd recognize those hops. That being said, I'd say because of that hop flavor coming through for me, it's much more of like the American IPA in a sense than it is of the Belgian style. It does have that sweetness, like they said, it's not as sweet as normal Belgian.
But you mentioned the sweetness and their special ingredients, this dark candy sugar.
Yeah.
So it's weird how that didn't come up in the long description they have of it. But
well, Belgian style ales like this, they will use the they'll use like a candy sugar per se, but they do have sugars in them. They all have sugars in them, which gives that sweetness to them.
TIL?
That darkness to them. And yeah, it's good. It's very enjoyable. If you're looking for a purist Belgian style ale, this is not for you. If you're looking, I mean, just by the description, they're using hybrid grains for their malts. Like, it's not your typical style of Belgian style ale. But I've seen other styles. Like when we had a couple episodes ago, like the Sophie was this Belgian style farmhouse ale.
Yep.
This to me feels a lot more Belgian than the other one did.
Really?
Again, this one's a dark ale compared to the light farmhouse ale, but the Sophie, it was like kind of like a nod almost to that style, where this one's like it's a handshake.
Okay.
If that makes any sense.
Yeah,
like it's more in tune with that style than any other like American or North American style beer trying to go for another country style. So yeah, it's very good. I definitely would recommend trying it at least once.
Absolutely.
Especially if you're a fan of a darker ale or even like the Belgian style ales, definitely pick it up. Even if you're an IPA guy and want to start to play around with different styles, I think this one will be a good transition, especially if you're a big stone guy.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I have tried this one and I do like it.
Yeah.
So yeah. Glad you like it too.
Excellent. So I got for you from Japan is the Baird Beer Wabi Sabi Japan Pale Ale.
So not Beard Beer.
No,
but Baird
Beer. Yeah.
Okay.
So Beer Advocate gave it a 82. Rate Beer gave it a 72. And it's weird because looking up the ratings for this, some people are saying it's a Japan Pale Ale, some are saying it's a India Pale Ale.
Is it from Japan or is it like
it is from Japan?
Where it's...
So it's a small craft brewery from Japan.
Okay.
But I'll go into the beer first. So on their site, they say Wabi Sabi is a uniquely Japanese and hybrid version of the craft beer world's two most popular styles, a pale ale and an IPA. So this is probably where the confusion comes from of is it IPA or no.
Yeah.
Local Japanese wasabi and green tea are combined deftly with several varieties of herbal character hops. So the hops they have in there is a floor malted Pilsner and Maris Otter with a Munich. And for their unmalted grain, they have a roast barley. And for the hops, they just say a whole flower cones. So exactly what kind of hops, I'm not sure, but they're using the whole flower, not just an extract or the leaves from it. They're using the whole cone.
Okay.
Which might give it a kind of interesting IPA kind of style characteristic.
For sure. What beer did we have last episode? They used the hop flowers rather than the extract.
That was one you picked up from me. Yeah. That was the Double X bitter.
That's right. Yeah.
With the annoying paper enclave it had wearing.
Where you couldn't hear us afterwards. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's okay. That's just what it reminded me of.
Okay.
Yeah. Continue.
So history of the brewery started in 1997 by Brian and Sayuri Baird. So a white guy and a Japanese girl got together, got married. They, I guess, were from Japan, so I guess he must have moved to Japan at some point. Found her, they got married, and then they actually traveled to the Pacific Northwest in 1997 to start studying brewing. Around that time, is craft beer movement was really high at that time. So, 2001, they got their license to be a brewery in Japan. That's when Japan started opening up, saying, "Okay, all these like small craft breweries will allow you to have a license to start brewing." So they started off with a tiny 30-liter batch brew house. So they make 30 liters at a time.
That's pretty small.
Yeah, which is really not that much. And they were able to partner up with a tap house in Japan and were able to supply for them their beer straight to tap, basically.
And one batch at a time? That's not even a full keg.
No. But they were supplying for the Fish Market Tap Room. So if anyone has been to Japan or wants to go to Japan, if it's still around, might want to check out that place.
Yeah.
See where it all started. 2003 was their first expansion. So they went from a small little 30-liter batch brew house to a 250-liter batch house. So
it's a bit better.
Yeah, still a little bit small in the grand scheme of things compared to North American craft breweries, but
gotta start somewhere.
Yeah. And the 2006 saw them going to a new brewery, and this is coinciding with their 5-year anniversary for the debut of their beer at the Fish Market tap room. And they were able to actually find a decommissioned 1,000-liter batch brewing system that used to belong to a company called Suruga Beer Company. So I guess they went under, and then they had the opportunity to purchase the system, and that allowed them to expand, by 4 times at that point, going from 250 to 1,000. 2008, they actually started to export, shipping to the United States, and then soon after, certain niche areas in Canada, Australia, and New Zealand, Singapore, and Hong Kong. And then they opened up, another brewery, I believe, in 2013. So that's their current facilities now, and that's where we started seeing these beers coming to Alberta.
Okay.
So I picked this up at Willow Park, and I think they're going for about $6 a bottle.
Nice.
Oh, how is it?
It's interesting.
Yeah.
Talk about the. It mentions on the bottle that it's either unfiltered or they restart. It's unfiltered and they re-ferment it in the bottle.
Yeah.
So there's quite a bit of sediment and yeast in here.
Okay.
Which is totally fine. Left a little bit still in the bottle. The smell leaves something to be desired. I don't know. It doesn't smell like beer. It smells kind of weird.
Okay.
But it doesn't taste like it smells. It tastes much better.
Okay.
Wasabi's quite a strong flavor, so I thought I would taste more of it than I do. But it's there. I taste more of the green tea part of it.
Okay.
Now, I like wasabi. Like I like sushi and wasabi.
Yeah.
Green tea it's all right. So this makes this beer
all right.
But if you're a green tea fan, you'll love this.
Yeah.
You should get it for sure.
Is it really that strong of a green tea taste?
You tried it? Give it a try.
No, sure.
It's not super strong, but it's...
So yeah, the smell's reminiscent of like somebody with a really bad batch of weed.
Yeah.
I'd say.
I can't place it. I really can't place.
For me, it's
smell.
like someone like, like if you're a little like preteen or whatever, and you're trying to get your first score of weed, and they mix in like lots of tobacco, but just a little bit of weed. That's kind of what it reminds me of. Yeah, it totally doesn't taste anything like
wasabi
or anything. Does have a strong matcha green tea characteristic to it. I think that's what they use in there, isn't it? Matcha green tea?
That's what you mentioned?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I mentioned green tea, but not specifically which type of green tea, but I think it is matcha.
Just says green tea.
Okay. Pretty sure they're using matcha. Usually you can get like a matcha green tea powder, which will dissolve really well into something like brewing a beer or something.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, it's interesting. After the after notes, actually, is that where that pale ale starts coming through.
Yeah.
Doesn't smell like a pale ale, doesn't taste like a pale ale, but
you get a little bit of hops.
At the end, you get that little kind of floral note coming out.
For sure. So would you agree, if you're a green tea drinker, you'd probably like it?
Yeah, if you're a green tea drinker and you want to get into beer, this might be your gateway drug, as we like to say on the show.
Yeah.
Finding ways to get you guys to drink beers with us. Yeah.
Oh, I thought you were going somewhere with the bad batch of weed and the gateway drug.
No. So would you recommend it?
Worth a try. I don't see myself drinking it in the future.
Yeah.
But like I said, if you're a green tea fan, give it a try. Or if you just like something different, give it a try and see if you enjoy it.
Awesome.
Definitely not bad. How's that?
Okay, good. So that'll do it for the beers.
Yeah.
And we'll go into the games that we had to play.
Sure.
So you want to start with your game or my game? Go with my game?
Sure.
Sure. So you challenged me to Bioshock Infinite.
I did.
And didn't get a whole lot of time to play this game, but the time I did get to play, I think was enough to really give a good review of the game. If anyone that's watching has played Bioshock 1, you might have heard me saying on the last episode as well, saying that like Bioshock 2 I wasn't very impressed with because it was more of the same. So in that regard, it actually seemed like a half step backwards because you're not really getting anything more. You're getting an attempt at a continuation of where you left off at number one, but where number one left off at didn't really
need a continuation.
Yeah. Like it didn't make sense to have it continue on. So going into this game, it's like, okay, is it going to be the same mechanics? And right away I'll say yes, it's the same mechanics. But it's not the mechanics that make this game, it is the atmosphere.
It is definitely the atmosphere.
Yeah, so number one, you're way underground, and you're this utopian society that tried to like make it on their own, and everything went wrong. Likewise, in Bioshock Infinite, you're the opposite, where now you're like way in the skies, and you're as close to heaven as you can. So there's a lot of religious play into this game, ties into it. As well as it seems like it happened kind of around World War II time.
Yeah.
Between World War I and World War II. Where people decided to make their own sovereign state that was on ground, I guess. And separated from the US. And then when the US was like in dire need during the war, they decided, okay, we'll help you out. And then after the war, US is like, well, we'll take you back in. Because they kind of like kicked them out, like we don't like you guys. But then since they helped them in the war to win it, the US is like, okay, well, like, we'll bring you in. And they're like, no, screw you guys, and somehow find a way to like shoot up into the skies.
So if you keep playing, you'll
run into why.
Yeah.
So they're up in the skies now, and they're a utopian society similar to Bioshock 1.
But there's people. Like this sounds small, but this was like really big for me because in Bioshock 1, you're basically alone. Anything you see is an enemy for the most part.
Yeah, you don't see any other like people.
Yeah, it's like the society has crumbled, crashed. Everyone's left the city. Whereas when you arrive in this cloud city, this floating city, it's a functioning thriving
society. Yeah. Until they find out, not really a spoiler, but they find out you're the false shepherd. So you have this mark on your hand, AD, which marks you as the enemy, the false shepherd that's coming to ruin their utopia, basically.
Or Alpha
Drake. So, the first part is you're seeing lots of people around you because they're trying to get you to experience the place and what's happening, what's going on, what the culture is like.
Yep.
Which I think was a nice change from Bioshock 1, where you don't get to see that, only like through like small glimpses of trying to pick up from like all this wreckage and everything else.
Pieces.
This one's like kind of like, here's how it is, and they have these cool little like old kinetoscope things, like the old penny arcades, where like you'd look in and like it'd be like a really small film that would play for like 10 seconds or something, giving you like they're all just propaganda of why the guy who created this place is, the prophet, the god, whatever they want to call him. Gameplay mechanics pretty much exactly the same. Of course, they try and mix it up a little bit with like what your vigors are. So you still have your fire stuff. You still have you have a thing. Your first thing you get is you're able to charm mechanical things.
Yep.
So it could be a turret that's set up to like attack enemies. You can charm it now as attacking the people that are trying to attack you. It's your friend, but it only lasts for a little while. It doesn't last forever. So you don't want to stick around that thing till like it wears off. Or if you do, like try and kill it before it turns on you, kind of thing. The Raven thing was pretty cool. So your third vigor is you get to control ravens.
Yeah.
Which I think in Bioshock 1 it was like bees or something. I remember it being like bees or insects or something. So I think like the relationship for there is like went from like insects to like these ravens. And it was kind of a cool fight. I enjoyed that fight. it was very short. Like it wasn't hard to defeat that at all. But yeah, it's really fun game. I think if you hated Bioshock the first time,
you're not gonna
like this anyways. But if you enjoyed Bioshock even a little bit, and even if you hated Bioshock 2, I think you'll enjoy this game
for sure.
It's just that nice, refreshing palette change. Bioshock being a very dark, gritty, like always in the shadows kind of thing because it's underwater. This being up above in the sky, so it's nice and bright. It's nice and just visually nice, and it's actually funny. I said before in a previous episode that like Dishonored reminded me of Bioshock.
Yeah.
But now Bioshock Infinite reminds me of Dishonored because basically when they find out you're the false shepherd, for the most part all you're seeing is like guards. And the guards to me felt a lot like the guards in Dishonored. Just the way they're like just stylized wise.
Fair enough, yeah. If you keep playing in Bioshock Infinite, eventually you get to a point where you're back in with the people.
Okay.
Like small spoiler. So it's not just you see people at the beginning.
Yeah, right now like cities are like locked down.
Ever again. Yeah. No, eventually you do get back into the city. Okay. Whereas people are walking around like normal. And I don't know, I just felt like more comfortable, I don't know. It's kind of weird. It's kind of nice, to be honest.
Yeah.
In a game like that, but
awesome.
So would you recommend it?
Yeah, I definitely recommend it.
How much would you pay for it?
Today, I'd still say it's easily a $15, $20 game.
I'd agree.
Easily.
Yeah.
Yeah. Definitely. If you see it for $20, pick it up.
Absolutely.
There's no reason not to pick it up.
Yeah.
So that'll do for my review. We'll go into your game.
Sure. So you challenged me to
Mark of the Ninja.
That's right. Now this is an interesting game. It's not different, but they take a different style to it. It's a side-scrolling game where you play as a ninja. Now the side-scrolling game has been around since forever, right?
Yeah.
Side-scrolling genre.
Since we moved from text into
graphics.
Graphics, yeah.
So you'd think most of the mechanics done with it, or anything you can do with it, has been done. But Mark of the Ninja has found new things to do with it.
Okay.
Which I think is great. So they employ I'll start a little about the story first. You're a ninja and you're sent, your training facility, training village, whatever is attacked.
Okay.
And then you're sent by your sensei to go, kill the people who attacked you.
Seek vengeance on those that attacked you, okay.
So the story leaves something to be desired.
Right.
I mean,
typical samurai story, yeah.
Yeah. But it employs a lot of new things like line of sight. Whereas if you're crawling through a vent, you can't, even though your screen shows above and below the vent, you can't even see what's there. You can't see if there's an enemy there.
Oh, it actually blocks it out
because your character can't see if there's anyone there. Yeah,
that's awesome.
And there's also the sound portion, which I don't know if that's been done in a side scroller before, but if you sneak around, they won't hear you. But if you run or start jumping or doing things,
okay,
they'll detect you and turn around and see you. Or right.
Yeah, I don't think they've really done that in a side scroller before. Usually in 3D games, Splinter Cell and stuff like that. They'll be able to
every stealth game. Yeah,
you're being loud or not. But side scroller, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, and they have light as well. You hide better in the shadow. I think that's been done before, but they still do it really well.
Okay.
And they also employ a quasi 3D thing where you can hide behind objects, where really you just come closer to the screen, as it were.
Okay.
If there's a vase there and a guard walking towards you, you can hide behind the vase, which really you're in plain sight.
He's going past it, but it's closer to you as the perspective.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's not like the Fez 3D.
No.
But it's 2.5D. I don't know.
It was like a planar 2D, right? You have this plane, you have a forward plane, you have a backward plane. Backward is probably just the actual background.
Yeah.
You have the playing plane, playfield plane, and then you have in certain circumstances you'll have an object that you can actually kind of
sneak in front of. It's not like Paper Mario, where you can move forward and backward within your 2D plane. Right. If that makes sense.
Yeah. Just a play field, and then certain objects can go in front of.
Yeah.
Okay.
So as you progress through, you can kill you can kill or not kill enemies, I guess. There's bonuses for sneaking by and not killing anyone, much like and not being detected, much like Dishonored. And or you can sneak up behind the enemies and kill them. Or one thing you cannot do, much like Hitman, is you cannot fight head on. Basically, if you're seen, you have to run away.
Okay.
Like, because
so everything has to be like ninja stars or grappling hooks or whatever.
Yeah, like the enemies have guns, and if they see
you use the environment to kill people,
you can.
Okay.
A little bit. Okay. Like you can drop lights on people.
Right.
But for the most part, you just have to sneak around, use the vents, sneak behind them, and then assassinate them.
Okay.
Or sneak by them. I chose to assassinate them. There's no way I was going through all that without being detected.
Well, you're a ninja too, right? Like, it's nothing more satisfying than being a ninja, getting behind your enemy and assassinating them.
That's right.
Yeah.
So the controls are a little weird, but you can get around it. I mean, if you were trying for the unseen, that would probably get pretty frustrating. But if you're just trying to get through through the level, you can totally deal with it. And yeah, so it's a lot of fun. I haven't beaten it yet, but I'll probably go back to it.
Yeah,
it's a surprisingly long game. Like, and starting it, I figured it would be like an indie game,
like 3 to 4 hours, and be kind of done.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
but no, it's longer than that.
Yeah, well, nice.
But one thing I did notice before I wrap this up is if you don't care about being seen, the game can be very easy. Like, you'll assassinate someone, say, and you've now left the building, and you only have to escape the building, but there's guards patrolling everywhere. So you could go down in the vents and sneak behind people and just do all this dodging and weaving and all that. Or you could do what I did and just keep running and jumping over guards, over dogs, dodging their bullets.
Just outrunning everybody?
To the end.
Yeah. Okay.
So, I mean, this sequence that was supposed to take 5 minutes, I did in 5 seconds.
Right,
It's like running, jumping into the level. Woohoo. I mean, you don't get a lot of your honor, your upgrade points for not being detected or for killing people, but if you just want to get through the game, you can do it pretty quickly, I think.
Okay.
But yeah, I'd recommend it if you're into that style of game. Yeah, even if you're not, actually, because I'm really not, but I enjoyed it. I'd probably pay $5 or $10 for it. I don't know if I'd pay more than that, but
yeah,
I think regular price is 15 or 20.
Okay.
So I'm sure it goes on sale for that.
Yeah, so you see on sale for $10.
Yeah.
Or even cheaper, and pick it up.
For sure.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So that's our review of our challenges, and now we'll go into our new challenges.
Sure.
So I'm going to challenge you to a game that I've been holding off for a long time, challenging to this, and we've mentioned it on the show many times now. In fact, we put a little snippet of its trailer.
Is it Lost Coast?
In one of the episodes. It's Dead Island.
Okay.
So I'm finally gonna pull the trigger, and I'm gonna have you play Dead Island.
Okay. I haven't played it, so I think I've seen one person at a LAN play it. But what game just came out that was supposed to be what Dead Island was supposed to be?
I have no idea right now.
A zombie game just came out within the past month. No?
I don't know.
Okay.
No idea.
Anyways, I haven't played it either, but everything I hear about it, it's what Dead Island was supposed to be.
Okay.
So maybe at some point we'll have to play that.
Yeah, and I'm sure I can put a little text on the screen saying
what it was.
Hey, you dumbass, this is what it was. Yeah.
Just about to ask, can you do that?
Awesome.
But okay, yeah, I'll give it a try.
Cool.
As for you, I'm going to have you play XCOM, Enemy Unknown.
Okay.
Which, I don't know if you played the original XCOM. I did not.
I know of the original XCOMs. I've never played any of them. Okay. I've owned them in various forms over the time, but yeah.
So I'll give you a really quick recap. It's turn-based strategy.
Okay.
Like where you control individual people of a squad.
Okay.
To repel an alien invasion. And then in between your missions, you have to choose your missions. Do you want to help this city or this city? And then reduce worldwide panic. And if one country gets too panicked, they don't think you're doing anything, they'll stop funding you.
Okay.
And it's really interesting. And then a really quick warning if you do the multiplayer, they have a really fun 1v1 multiplayer.
Okay.
But if you start a match, it turns your microphone on and doesn't tell you. Found that out the hard way with Jason. Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Okay, so that'll wrap it up for our new challenges.
Yep.
So I gotta play XCOM Enemy Unknown.
And I'm gonna play Dead Island.
Dead Island, yeah. So, as I'm not sure if we mentioned in the last episode or not, but
the BSB
Bottle Screw Bills, they had their 21st annual beer fest.
21st?
Yeah.
Well, so I went to it and I didn't even know that.
It's their longest running beer fest in, I'm not sure if it's just Calgary or maybe even like most of Canada. But it's been running for 21 years now at Bottle Screw Bills, and we went to it last week, was it? Last weekend?
2 weekends.
2 weekends ago. Yeah, 2 weekends ago. So, yeah, just after we filmed the last episode, that weekend, we went to the event, and the day afterwards, the episode came out. So, yeah, it was an awesome time.
It was a lot of fun. It's not like the other beer fests that happen that, I don't know where it happens here, but in Edmonton, it happens at the Shaw.
Yeah, so that's the same venue, or the same company that does the one in Edmonton, does the one in Calgary. It's the International Beer Fest,
where you have to pay $30-something to get in,
and that doesn't include anything. That's just
you have to pay for all your
door.
tokens. Then each sample is 3 or 4 tokens,
depending on how much they want to gouge you.
So this is not like that at all.
No,
this is you pay $25 to get in. You get 20 beer tokens, and each sample, which is a good size sample, is 1 token, no matter what it is.
All the proceeds go to the mustard seed for Calgary.
Charity. A much better.
That's how a beer fest should be done.
Absolutely.
In my opinion. And obviously they're doing it right if they've been doing it 21 years strong now.
Yeah.
And they're still going. And so what we did is we both went, along with Monique behind the camera, and we brought our GoPro. And we filmed the entire event from us walking through the front door to them wrapping up all the stations. So we have that footage, and it's being edited right now. And hopefully it'll be...
Are you also downstairs?
Right now, yeah. So hopefully we're going to have that out pretty soon here. Bottle Screw Bills, if you don't know, it's in Calgary. It's down on 10th Street. Oh, sorry, 10th Avenue.
And 1st Street.
1st Street, Southeast. Some people get kind of confused when they're trying to look for it because the front of the house says Buzzards Restaurant. Yeah. Which is technically Bottle Screw Bills and Buzzard's restaurant. So the front of the house is the restaurant, a little bit more your classic sit-down restaurant type.
Yep.
Back of the house is your typical bar. You got all the booths by the bar. You've got tables in the midsection, and then tables and booths in the very back. You got 3 patios. So they have a patio facing 10th Ave. They got a side patio that's right when you come up the stairs. That would be along 1st Street. And then when you go through the bar towards the back, you have another long section of patio there.
Yeah. And they're heated, so pretty much any time of year you can actually
have a beer unless it's like patio. Really cold out, it's pretty much always open. And now that weather's starting to get nicer in Calgary, it's should be available pretty much nonstop till October, November.
Yeah. And if you go there Sunday night, you'll probably see us there.
Yeah, we're there typically almost every Sunday, but every other Sunday for sure.
Yeah.
We do a passport system there called the Around the World in 80 Beers. So you get a year to drink 80 beers
from different countries.
So they have different lists. And in recent years, they've added to that by having different journeys. So there's the first journey you've never done before,
where you do your first 80 beers from different countries. Once you've done that, if you want to do another one and you get your jacket, you can do a second journey, which is 80 different beers.
Yeah. And
get a different color jacket.
So the one I'm wearing now is what you would get if your second journey. First journey is a black one.
Yeah. And now there's a new third journey, which you're currently working on.
I'm working on that one right now.
Which is 80 different beers from the first 2.
Yeah.
So this place has over 300 beers. So, yeah.
Yeah, and it's pretty fun because every 20 beers they give you something different, right? So the first 20 they give you a free beer, and typically the beer they give you for free will actually be on your list. So bonus,
you're only paying for 79 beers.
Only 79 beers to do, right? Instead of 80
to pay for,
yeah. After 40 you get a free appetizer. It could be nachos, ribs, or wings. Nachos definitely the the best value.
Bang for the buck, especially when you're with a
you
group.
could feed like 3 or 4 people with that plate of nachos. Yeah. It's deceiving. It doesn't look like much, but
that's
high
quality too. It's not like the platter with the like
it's just like
the marble
big
cheese
platter with like a
whatever,
little side of like
and the Tostitos. No.
Yeah,
this is
tricolor
gourmet
chips.
nachos.
Yeah, tricolor chips. You got your cheese and all your other things. They give you like 3 different sauces. So you have your sour cream, you got your red salsa, and you have your salsa verde, which is your green salsa. Which my favorite is the green salsa. The salsa verde.
It's pretty good.
It's nice and spicy and fantastic.
We should get paid by BSBs. We're not actually, despite how much we've been talking about.
I know. There's people that joke that they're surprised I don't have a room in the back there because I'm there so often. So you guys definitely check it out. It's always a fun time there.
Yeah, for sure.
And that'll do it. Mailbag. Haven't really had anything coming through yet.
I don't think so. No. If you want to
So,
challenge us to something, feel free.
Yeah, you want to challenge us to something.
See if you can tell the difference between
an idea for
all
the
the
show.
malt liquors.
There's something you don't like about the show. Any of that. You can email us at brewsandgames@gmail.com. You can tweet us at brewsandgames. My Twitter's at jevans.
And I'm at Alpha Drake.
Like this video if you liked it. Dislike it if you didn't like it. Subscribe to keep up with more.
Yeah.
I think that'll do it.
All right. Till next time.
Cheers.
Cheers.
And welcome to the after show.
For episode 12.
Episode 12, yeah.
What have you got here?
Like the last episode, we did the Rogue Sriracha. Give that a little bit of a try. So I figured this episode we'll go with the Rogue Voodoo.
The Voodoo Donut.
Yeah, so these are collaboration beers with Voodoo Donut from Portland, Oregon. Been there myself. It's a fantastic donut shop. If you guys haven't picked up yet, I'm gluten intolerant, can't have wheat and stuff, but I made an exception for this donut place because I've heard about this place for a very long time. And Rogue loves it as well, obviously, because they've partnered with Voodoo Donut to have the... I have the chocolate peanut butter banana ale.
And I have the lemon chiffon cruller ale.
Yeah, so we're going to give this a try. First we'll pour for ourselves.
Sure.
And then we'll taste and give our reviews of each beer. And then we're going to switch.
Sure.
And see if our reviews match up or not.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
I think these are seasonal, because I think the chocolate peanut butter banana is going out and the lemon chiffon is coming in.
Yeah, so this one's been out for a while, so this one's on its way out. Very hard pressed to find this one.
I think so.
In fact, this is the last one you found on the shelf, right?
Yeah.
Lemon chiffon's been out for 2 months now.
This one's still easy to find.
And still pretty prominent on the shelves, so yeah. It's a good sound.
Yeah.
I love that sound. So one thing about Rogue bottles, they always make that same sound.
It's a
consistent sound.
In a consistent shape, right? Like,
yeah.
I like their bottles. I really do.
Well, off the bat, it's a very different style of beer. You got more of like a ale style. I've got more of a stout.
Yeah. Which makes sense, I guess. Like, spring's coming, you want the lighter beer.
But they're both ales, right? Mine says ale. Does yours say ale? Yeah, they're both ales. So we have a light ale and a dark ale. So this will be the winter classic going into the spring.
Cheers.
Cheers. It smells so good. It actually reminds me of a smell from when I was like a little kid in like elementary or junior high.
All I can think of then will be pixie sticks.
Like maybe like
pixie sticks.
I'm not sure if it was like Halloween or like Texas Donut Day.
What is Texas Donut Day?
We didn't have Texas Donut Day?
No.
So when I was in school, we had Texas Donut Day. So it's like once or twice a year, the school would like, I don't know like what donut shop or bakery they like joined up with, but A Texas donut is like this donut that's like the size of my face. Like it's literally this big.
Is it like an actual donut?
Yeah, it's an actual donut, like this big. So as a little kid, this thing's like the freaking moon in your face, and you're just like, instead of having a lunch, you just eat a Texas donut. Because you'd be hard pressed to eat the entire thing, like for lunch.
And every student got one.
If they wanted to, it was up to them, right?
Oh,
and it was like
you had to pay for it, or what?
It was like $3 or $4. It was like it's ridiculous. I can't believe you never heard of Texas donut.
Yeah,
man,
we didn't have that.
Yeah, Texas donuts were like the shit. But then they turned into shit. Like in elementary, they were like really good, in junior high. But then as I got into high school, like they tried doing that as well, but like they weren't storing them properly, so like they'd be all soggy and like just gross.
You had this like K through 12?
Yeah, man. Junior high was the best because junior high was when it was like the best Texas donuts, and they had Tahiti treat. I don't know if you know about Tahiti treat.
No.
It was like this like pop. You probably know Hawaiian Punch. Hawaiian Punch. Every kid I know, even like your age and down, like they know Hawaiian Punch. They think it's like the fucking greatest thing ever. But Hawaiian Punch didn't hold a candle to Tahiti treat. So I'm a bit older than you. So any viewers out there, if you remember Tahiti treat, you know what I'm talking about. Like this stuff, like once in a while you can find like Amazon or something. A 12-pack will be like $50. Like this stuff is like, it's like at the level of like Crystal Pepsi. You know about Crystal Pepsi, right?
I do know about Crystal Pepsi.
You probably never had it, but you know like the legend of like Crystal Pepsi.
Yes,
right?
But now that you mentioned that you can buy this Tahiti treat, whatever it is, on
yeah, but it's not
eBay.
like Crystal Pepsi where it's like a 12-year-old case.
Okay, because that's what
like sometimes like some like gets produced, but like I don't know where it's being. Like I think it's in the U.S. It's based in the U.S. But such small like production runs that like there's only so many that get made, so like you have to like get what you can. Of course, us being in Canada, like whoever does decide to sell it on Amazon or eBay, like of course they're gonna like look for that money.
Yeah. Okay, I was thinking it was like the old school, like as if someone had a case of Crystal Pepsi, because I've seen videos of people drinking like 12-year-old Crystal Pepsi and then puking it up 5 minutes later because it's like.
Wasn't there that guy on YouTube? He's like I think he's from LA. He's like this big buff guy where people challenge him just like to eat like retarded stuff. Like he'll eat like entire pounds of like lard and like he's known for. It's like
he had other videos. I didn't watch them, so I don't know what he does. But I watched that one.
Yeah. Like he just does ridiculous things where like he eats insane amounts of whatever, but he works out like crazy, so it kind of works out, I guess.
That is the benefit of working out, is that you can consume all the calories and stuff
just
you
burn
want.
Off all that bad energy. Yeah. So after that tangent, let's go back to the beers we're drinking.
So I've had both of these, and while they're both good, I think the lemon chiffon hits the mark better. Maybe comparing them side by side, I'll change my mind once we switch. But the lemon chiffon gives me like the essence of a donut. It tastes like a donut. It tastes more like a donut than a beer because it's quite sweet, quite lemony, very, very lemony. It's not hints of lemon. It tastes like a dessert.
Yeah. I'm actually pretty disappointed with this beer. It tastes more like a chocolate stout. Given it is chocolate, peanut butter, banana. I guess that kind of goes towards that, but it does say an ale. I don't taste banana whatsoever in this. Like it's just not there. And I was really hoping for like even that artificial like banana pudding flavor. I was hoping that would like, if not be equal, like be dominant.
Because banana's a strong flavor, right? So.
Yeah, so I was hoping that it would be like a nice banana flavor with like hints of chocolate and peanut butter, but this is just mostly chocolate, a little bit of peanut butter, but it just reminds me of the stout. I'm not too excited about it. It's disappointing, just like the sriracha beer.
I remember thinking the same thing, but it's been a few months since I've tried it, so Let's switch and
The
then
swap?
see if we agree on each other's opinions here.
Sure. I've sampled this before. When the Sriracha beer first came out.
Kool-Aid. Sorry to interrupt. Kool-Aid. This smells like Kool-Aid. Without question.
I've never smelled a Kool-Aid that smelled like
Kool-Aid
that.
powder.
I'll take your word for it.
It's totally Kool-Aid powder.
Even the smell of even the smells between these two, like this one just smells so good. Like it has that nice like lemon pudding smell.
Yeah.
Like this has a nice lemon pudding smell. Like lemon meringue pie almost. Comes off the nose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Much
this one's like
beer,
a liquid donut. It's a liquid donut. You taste the lemon, you taste the cream, you taste the actual like dough of the donut. Like you taste fatty dough in this beer. It's a liquid donut. It's awesome. How do you feel about that one?
I agree with your sentiments. You're a lot of chocolate, tiny bit of peanut butter, and no banana.
Mm-hmm. I
That,
think
that being said,
saving that beer would be having a much higher prominent banana flavor in it. That would save that beer. If they had banana pushing through that flavor profile, I think it would save that beer.
at the same time, try something else. Try this beer again, approaching it not as a chocolate voodoo donut ale, just as a dark ale. And tell me what you think. If I just gave this to you without a label, without any knowledge.
Like I said, it tastes like a very good chocolate stout.
Yeah, it's not bad still.
Even like a slight hint of coffee in there.
Yeah.
Like it's a good beer, but I'm just saying, like when you read the label, and
When you
seeing...
see a chocolate peanut butter banana ale, you get excited and you're like, well, actually most people think, wow, that sounds disgusting. But if you're like me, you get excited and you're like, wow, I want to know what this tastes like.
Yeah.
And you're kind of let down. But if you were to approach it just as a dark ale, it's actually pretty good.
Yeah. I did compare to the Sriracha ale, which Sriracha ale I wouldn't drink past one beer.
Yeah, that's not...
I would drink this again. I would just scratch out the banana. and the ale, and I'd say more like a stout.
Yeah.
It's more like a stout style. Yeah. I'm just let down that it doesn't have that banana flavor in it. I was really hoping for like the banana to come through, but it's just not there.
So which is better?
The lemon chiffon for sure.
If
you're looking for a voodoo donut style beer, the lemon chiffon.
I haven't had voodoo donut, but I'd have to agree the lemon chiffon is better. And
it's the epitome of a donut in a beer. Everything is there.
Yeah.
The dough, the lemon, the cream, all those elements, the sugar, everything is there. It tastes like a lemon chiffon turned into a beer.
Agree, 100%. Yeah.
Well, that'll do it for our after hours review of another Rogue beer. Cheers.
Cheers. I got the lemon.